this video we're going to discuss about the kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Energy which means ability to do work, and kinetic which means motion, which means the energy or which is in the motion. Energy is in the form of motion is called kinetic energy. And kinetic energy, the formula of the kinetic energy is 1/2 mv square. This we are going to prove that with the help of the law of conservation of energy, that we are going to prove that. And this depend upon this depend upon the mass and velocity, which is mass and the velocity. Let's see how. One thing I want to tell you guys that we are having the 24 types of energy. 12 we are having the macro, and 14 we are having the at the micro level. Alright, you can take the example of the light energy, you can take the example of hair wave, you can take the example of the transitional energy, vibration energy. Alright, if the mass is double, for example, and the velocity is double, mass is double as well as the velocity is double, so what will be the kinetic energy? The kinetic energy, it is double, which means 2 into 2. So kinetic energy will increase by the 4 times. Kinetic energy will increase by what? Kinetic energy will increase by the 4 times. For example, if the mass is half and velocity is double, so what will be the kinetic energy? We have the mass is half, which means 1/2, and the velocity is double, 2 into 2, which means the kinetic energy will remain same. So this type of question can be asked in the MCQs. Now we are going to discuss about the law of conservation of the energy. We are going to prove this formula, the derivation of the kinetic energy we are going to discuss. For example, this is a ball and it is moving upward, which means that the A will be equal to minus g. Alright, minus g, which means it is moving upward, which means the gravity is on the upper side, the gravity is negative, so we have discussed the negative g. And s is equal to height, as you guys all know, and here we have the vi is equal to v, and the vf in upward it will be equal to the 0. So as you guys all know, we are having what? We are having the third equation of motion. Alright, so that is equal to what? 2as is equal to the vf square minus vi square. So we can write it 2a is equal to what? Minus g. So we can write it minus g, and s is equal to h, that will be equal to vf. Vf is what? Vf is 0 minus, and vi is what? Vi is the v. So we can write it v square. Alright, so we can write it that the minus 2gh is equal to the minus v square, because 0 minus it will be equal to this. So we can write it that h is equal to the v square upon 2g. That is the value we are finding of the h. So as you guys all know that we are having a formula, that is the w is equal to mgh, that is the gravitational potential energy. So as you guys all know that the m will be equal to the m, and the g will be equal to the g, and the value of the h is what? V square upon 2g. So this g will cancel by the g, which means there the 2 will be remaining. So we can write the kinetic energy is equal to the 1/2 mv square. 1/2 mv square. So this is the formula of the kinetic energy, which means that the kinetic energy depend upon what? That depend upon the mass and the velocity. So this was about the derivation of the kinetic energy and the little bit explanation about the what is kinetic energy.